Hello everyone and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So as you guys know, recently I started my adventure on console to see what it's like as a new player and everything. So one thing I wanted to talk about was what you should do as a new player getting started into the game, and in like 6 steps how you can get caught up more or less easily and start making silver and making gains early on. So I wrote a little bit of a list of a few things that I think are important. There's actually a lot of things, so I could always do a part 2, but I just decided 5 or 6 things that I think would be important for basically everyone, whether you've ever played an MMO in the past before or you're starting BDO for the first time and this is your first MMO. I think this would be a good starting point. So with that said, in no particular order, these are all, I think, good, tips. I think the first one would be to play a class that you like. So as we know, Black Desert has probably about almost 30 different classes in this game. It's a lot more than, other MMOs, but I think variety is good. Balance, on the other hand, is a different issue entirely. But I think overall it's a good idea to, just pick something you like and not chase the meta as a beginner. Simply because you're going to be playing on a character for, thousands of hours if you invest into it. And so you should find something that you enjoy. I have a video talking about every class and the basics of it. So if you have trouble finding a class that you like, just basically tell me a little bit of a description of your playstyle and I'll point you in the right direction. Or I'll just leave the link in the description to the video. But anyway, yeah, just play a class that you like. Don't chase the meta. Not necessarily a bad thing, but as a starter, you're just going to invest thousands of hours on one character. So there's that. The next thing I wrote down was finding a guild in this game. So as we all know, MMOs are usually social games. Anything that has online, chances are you're going to run into other players. And I know that Black Desert is about 95% a solo game, and that means whatever you're doing, chances are you're going to be playing solo. But there are actually benefits of, socializing in this game, finding a guild, and one of them would be being able to do guild missions. You get rewarded for that as well as having guild skills. So even if you do certain things, let's say you're trying to find a guild for PvE or PvP or Lifeskills in particular, there's always a benefit of joining a guild, and it would be basically just having passive stats onto your character by being in the guild. Most established guilds these days already have all the things already set up, so basically as long as you're in a guild, you get stuff like free accuracy, free AP, HP, damage reduction, evasion stats that are always good. And then of course through time you'll get different buffs for whatever you're doing. So just being in a guild will give you stats even if you don't talk, but aside from that, you should just join one or find a guild that works for your play style, your time zone and everything. And I think that's a good thing. So find a guild as soon as possible, join one, whatever, make one, doesn't matter, but you get bonuses for being in the guild. The next thing I want to talk about is doing the main story quest and some of the dailies and weekly quests that they offer. So as a new player, if this is your absolute first time playing the game, I would recommend doing all this questing. Some of them are more tedious than others, I will admit, but as a new player, I wouldn't recommend skipping, simply because they do actually give you a bunch of stuff. Like, for example, if you're doing a certain quest line, these quests do give contribution points, which is the thing over here. And contribution points, we'll talk about that in a little bit, basically allows you to progress through the game and set up your workers and nodes empire. So skipping it basically means that you don't get any of those. And if it's your first character, first time ever playing, I would recommend doing it. If it's your 5th or 6th character and you're just doing it on seasonals, you can skip it. It doesn't really matter. But either way, regardless of what happens, you should probably play to experience the story. You have to unlock certain things anyway in the game, so I think it's just overall a good thing I just started doing it. Now, as for the other tabs like weeklies and reoccurring, so I get a lot of questions asking what are some good dailies and weeklies to do? Basically, over time, as you play the game longer, you'll figure out some of the things that are more rewarding and stuff you could do that are, you know, I guess fun is relative. But I would recommend doing like the weekly bosses because those have potential for high value rewards. If you can do the bosses, those are always nice. Yeah, so like over time, it's mostly just like daily and weekly stuff that are rewarding. And I would recommend doing the stuff that you actually need to do. So as a new player, what I'd recommend is like these weeklies for your infinite potions. But you know, that's an entirely different story if you're buying it versus making it. But either way, things that you think are really rewarding, and then, you know, a lot of stuff in the suggested tab. Some of them are good. Some of them give rewards that you can't get normally. And the way you would get them alternatively is through the Pearl Shop, which is spending real money. So some of these quests give items like pets and an inventory and all that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'd recommend doing. Just find the right weeklies and dailies worth doing for you, but it's mostly just, you know, look at the rewards. Will it help you? Is it annoying to get? And then the new over here is usually event stuff. So whenever there's an event, you should probably just go on doing that. But most of the time, I would say main story, find some dailies that you enjoy doing. Weeklies are usually bosses and stuff that will give you rewards that you can't get without spending money, and then events. So as we were talking about nodes and workers, so early on when I first started the game, I didn't really understand the whole contribution point system. So let me just run it down as like the most beginner thing. If you've never played the game, this is what it is. You have contribution points. You see this number out of 460. You want to have this number as low as possible. That means you're using your contribution points, right? So how does it work? In this thing over here, this is the entire map of the game. If you see this for the first time, you're probably confused and you're overwhelmed. So let's make it darker so it's not as bad. So these are towns in the game. You discover them playing naturally. And then these are nodes. Most nodes have things where you can invest workers onto it. And then the workers bring materials back to the town. And then that's just like passive money over time. So basically, just by playing the game, you'll make more silver, and, you know, it just brings back materials to your storages, and then you either sell it, use it, make more silver. But it's something you want to do early on, simply because, you know, your goal of the game is to progress your character, and you get materials for that. So either way, something that you want to invest in early. Workers are here as well. I guess they go by different tiers for green, blue, yellow, and artisan, or orange. Artisan's the best ones, and then skilled on... Do they even still have greens anymore? I don't know. But either way, over time, you just invest in the best ones and then put them onto workers, make them go faster, produce more and everything. So yeah, set that up early. It's always good, helpful, and then you set it up once, you don't really think about it again. All right, the next thing I want to talk about as a beginner. So you've probably heard of Black Desert, and you probably heard a lot of things like, oh, this game is grindy, there's a lot of RNG, you know, stuff that, you know, is not really the greatest thing if you're like just from an outside perspective. However, there's a lot of things to actually do besides grinding in circles all day. I mean, there's life skills. If you've ever played another RPG game, chances are there's a lot of stuff as well. Here's the catch. What makes it different? They have leaderboards for this, and, you know, it goes more in depth, and, oh, let's cook this thing for a daily quest. They have that too, but they're actually, all the life skills are connected in one way or the other. So like you gather raw materials, and then you cook the materials, turn it into potions, process it, and all that stuff. So you're probably thinking, oh, fishing, that's in every game. Yep, that's in every game. But, you know, it's actually rewarding, unlike other MMOs that I've played, where it's, you know, it's just kind of a side activity. A lot of the life skills in this game are, you know, actually notable. You can make some bunch of silver out of it, and there's like a different kind of gear progression path. So you like all this gear right here is, you know, for PvP and PvE. for all of you who are life skilling, you have your own set of gear and everything. So it's like, if you're a full-time life skiller, you're like playing a different game than everyone who's just like PvPing or PvEing. So like you have different branches of gear to go for. So I think it's definitely something you want to look into, and it's actually, you know, it's very calming doing a lot of these things. So if you're not interested in the competitive aspect of it, you know, just try life skilling, and then it's very casual for the most part. And the last thing I would recommend to everyone, especially as a new player, is just exploring the world. Now, when you first see this, the map is going to be fog of war off. That means everything is like misty. You don't really know where anything is. And then you just explore the world over time. It's actually very like calming to just explore the world, look around. I do think that Black Desert has one of the best like visually looking games. And, you know, there's a lot of people that take like screenshots and everything. You can see it's like, oh, wow, that's really awesome. And just exploring the world, finding out new, like discovering things in the world is always exciting. And I wish I could experience that for the first time again. So truly, if you're a new player, this is something that you're just going to discover, you know, through time, naturally playing the game. And so, yeah, it's not really a rush. Just play the game casually, and then don't chase the meta, and, you know, just work on yourself instead of comparing yourself to others. And then I think it'll be ultimately, you'll have a good time instead of burning yourself out really quickly. So with that said, those are some of the first things I would do in Black Desert. And there's actually a lot of things, once again, I said that earlier, but yeah, just enjoy the game. And if you're lost, do you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comments. You can join the Discord. I'm happy to point you guys in the right direction. I have a lot of guides. Just search up like my name and then whatever you're looking for. Chances are I have a video of it, and if not, just ask. So with that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you come back, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.